What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy Spanko, and today I'm bringing you guys a Crusadia Guardragon deck profile. This is a deck profile that I don't know why I haven't posted yet. I've had this deck for a while now. The only thing I'm missing is I will tell you right now, is the second. Where is it at? The second Saryuja. I only have the one, so whenever I play this deck, I do end up borrowing the second because you kind of do need two. Like, you can definitely play it with one, and I've done combos with just one of them. If you guys want, I can do a test hand video as well. I actually might do that, but yeah, essentially you can play with one if you only have the one, because I know they're expensive right now. But if you have two, the extra deck is only 14 cards here because it should be the second one. But yeah, anyways, I'll get into that when I get into that. We'll just get into the profile. It's 41 cards, I believe. And yeah, that's totally fine because you're drawing so much with Saryuja anyways. So we'll get right into it. Triple Draco, this is the heart and soul of the deck. Literally, without this card, you can't play the deck. You just basically spam this card over and over and over again, and that's just what makes the Guardragon stuff work. 3 Maximus, not because he's good anymore. I think he's okay. Oh, by the way, I should say I'm not going to show you guys a side deck because I just don't have a side deck built for this deck. But essentially, when I did play this, for the side deck, you just play, you swap out going first stuff and put in going second stuff. So you play the OTK build, essentially going second. In the side deck, you just play more kaiju, stuff like that. And so that's where he becomes good, is because this deck is like it's very nice because it has that surprise factor. Like, oh, it makes this big board turn 1 with all these dragons and negates and whatever. But then turn 2, you're just going to OTK, right? Because, or not turn 2, well, turn 2 you will OTK. But I mean, game 2, game 3, if you're going second, yeah, you can just OTK, right? So that's why this deck is really, really good in that sense. And obviously, you just, like, you're also just maxing out on these because you need the names and you need to see them, because the combo does not work, like, unfortunately, without seeing these, and you don't care which ones you see, you just want to see them, right? 3 Leonis, this is because we are playing Rescue Cat. I am playing that variant, and I'll show you guys why later. But Rescue Cat, that variant is so good. Just being able to special Rescue Cat off of Saryuja is so strong. Then one of my favorite ones is Arborea. I actually played this as a tech in Dark Warrior, only because it's a free special summon to a Link Zone, but then it's also a protection. In this deck, it's a protection at least, which also makes it really, really good in the graveyard. And then 3, Reclusia. I didn't like this card at 3, to be honest. His effect doesn't come up as often as I would like it to come up, but you need to play 3 of them because you need to see it. Most of this deck is monster cards. You just need to be able to see it to combo. And then 1 World Legacy World Crown. I wanted to play it at 2. Honestly, I only have the 1 randomly. I know it's a rare, but I only have the 1. But then you also, whenever I played it at 2, I'm like, I would see it too much and I didn't want it. So 1 was just perfectly fine with me. Then you go into the dragon part of the deck, or whatever you want to call it. But then you play 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal. Obviously, you have to play 3 Collapse Serpent and 1 Wyvern Buster. I was playing this card at 2 for so long, and it actually hurt me to cut it down to 1. But the reason I ended up cutting it down to 1 was because I needed room to play some other cards, and it's already 41, and playing 2 wasn't, like, it was too much. I didn't want to play 42 cards. And then on top of that, like, a lot of people say, like, oh, you don't want to play 2 of this. Like, Collapse Serpent is obviously better because if you open Collapse Serpent and any Crusadia monster, you make Magius, you summon whatever, and then Magius is a light monster in itself, so you can banish Magius for Collapse Serpent, which is really strong. But yeah, 3 and 1. I'm pretty sure this is a standard ratio. I did like 2 of these. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't, but I don't know, I cut it down to 1. 2 Destrudo. I was going to bump this up to 3, but 3 was a little bit too much. I didn't want to see it that often. But 2 Destrudo is very, very good for me. And then I'm playing 3 Rescue Cat, and then 1 Virilafawn or whatever. That beast plays a really, really good. People underestimate the strength of Sky Striker, in my opinion. Like, it tops every event, and it's, like, probably the best deck, if not second best deck in the game. So it's like either first or second at all events, and it always does the best. But then for some reason, people want to, like, not respect it enough, in my opinion. So that's why I decided to play this engine, because that beast is just auto win against that. And then obviously you can side it out, because if you're going second, you side out, put them more Kaijus in. But speaking of Kaijus, we are playing the 1 Gamma Seal. That's it for the monster count. You are playing the 1 Gamma Seal because, I'll just show you guys this now, you are playing 2 Kyoto. Like, if you guys can see, the reason I like this deck, and the reason I built it this way, is because with this build, you can essentially open any kind of, like, hand and have some sort of negates. So I know this deck, a lot of people can, like, I've seen people play builds where they're like, oh, it can brick every once in a while and whatever, and I can't make the board I want to make. And, like, yeah, 100%. Like, there's times where you can't make the whole entire freaking dragon board, right, with all the negates. But you can end up, like, there's times where you can just end up with a Link Monster and a Rescue and a Nat Beast, or like, and plus a Gamma Seal or something, you know what I mean? So, like, even when you brick in this deck, you're just bricking, but you're just making another board with different negates, if that makes sense. So that was the whole point of this build. That's the whole point of them trying to make. So that's it for the monsters and I guess the Kyoto waterfronts. So continuing on with the spells, you're obviously playing 3 Called by the Grave because hand traps, you don't want to, you do not want to get hand trapped in this deck. I wouldn't say it's like a glass cannon deck, but again, you want everything to go through. 1 Foolish has an extender. Yeah, it's Japanese. This art is so much nicer. That's why I just use this art whenever I can. 2 Guardragon. Now I didn't like 3. I tried it at 3 at first. I was actually playing at 3 for a while, but then it's only a once per turn kind of card, and then you see it early. You'd rather draw into this with Saryuja and use it as an extender than have it opening hand and then like having more bricks in hand. Does that make sense? Because like if you already open one and you draw into more with Saryuja, like you don't really want to do that, because I know you can just put them back, but it's just like, I don't know, you would rather draw into different cards essentially. And then yeah, it's still more revival cards. So these are the 4 I play. So 2 Guardragon and the 1 Monster Reborn and 1 Succession. I don't know, it's pretty good in my opinion. And the reason this deck came up to 41 is because I am playing 3 Infinite Impermanence. The reason I'm playing 3 Infinite, you can play 3 Ash because Impermanence is expensive. You can play 3 Ash. But I play Imperm because drawing into an Imperm and like making the board and then setting a card, people are be confused. It's like so confused as to like what that set card is, and usually they won't really play around it because they know this kind of deck won't have a lot of set cards. Also, if you do end up losing die roll and going second, at least Imperm is a kind of like a disruption that you can use. But again, Ash is the exact same thing, in the sense that if you are going second, it's just disruption, right? It's just if you are going first, it is nice to set this, because if you set this, they won't really play around it because they won't expect it, and then obviously it'll come at them as a surprise. So that's it for the main deck. It is 41 cards. So off to the extra deck, we are playing 2 Crusadia Magius. This is actually very important at 2. I wanted to bump it up to 3 so bad, but 2 is fine. And 1 Spatha. Spatha is the one that makes all the combos happen. And then 1 Equimax. A lot of people don't play this. I wouldn't, but the only reason I do is because, again, in the side deck, you're siding the go second build, and so you can just make this OTK your opponent. Honestly, even sometimes going first, or not going first, but like if you have, like, even without siding in the going second stuff, if you end up being forced to go second, you can actually just make the Equimax to win as well. That's why this deck is really, really good, because, again, going first or second, it's good. Obviously, going first is better with this build, but going second isn't bad. You should be playing 2 Saryuja. I'm going to put a little sleeve here. Hold up. I'm going to put this here to show that you should be playing 2 Saryuja. But, yeah, I only have the 1. So whenever I play the deck, I usually just borrow a second from, like, a friend. But, yeah, 2 Saryuja 100%. If you guys can get away with playing 1, like, you guys definitely can get away with playing 1, but just 2 makes it so much more consistent. Boral Load, Boral Sword, 2 obviously good dragon monsters. You can also make them win OTK. And then you need the Guardragon package. So 1 Aspera or Agar Pain, 1 LP, and 1 Pisty. You need these for the combo. And then I just play some synchros, Crystal Wing, Boral Savage. Boral Savage is actually pretty good because you can actually make this with, if you open a combo with Destrudo, like you can open the Destrudo, you can end off making the Crystal Wing off of Agar Pain and then Boral Sword off of the Destrudo. So you end up with both, which is obviously really, really strong. 1 Dawn Dragster, because this is what I mostly go into. You don't go into Savage as much as you go into Dawn Dragster, and the only reason for that is because Dawn Dragster is a little bit easier to make in this deck, and you just make it at the end of your combo just for an extra negate. And then obviously the 1 Naturia Beast, because Naturia Beast auto wins you the Sky Striker matchup. And honestly, it wins you a lot of matchups, even if it's not the Sky Striker. The Pendulum matchup obviously can't play with Naturia Beast. Even against stuff like Salamangreat and stuff, being able to negate Circle, being able to negate Sanctuary, very strong, because they can't like extend essentially without that. So that's why Nat Beast is really, really strong. So that is it for the deck profile. I told you guys I didn't have a side deck ready for this deck, but for the side deck, you just want to play, in my opinion. So what I played, I think, was there's a bunch of Kaijus. I think 1 more Gamma Seal, 1 Humongous, 1 of the Thunder 3300. I played, I think 1 or 2 Slumbers, and then I just played hand traps like Droll, Ash, stuff like that. You just want to play the go second build essentially. You take out the going first cards, like you take out the Collapse Serpents, like these. You can take out these. I always take out these. Like going second, you never need these, right? So you take these out. These you take out. I take out the Kyotos going second usually, but I obviously keep the Gamma Seal in. So that's it for the side deck. That's it for the side deck that I would play. Obviously, you guys can play Book of Eclipse. You can play Lancia. You can DD Crow, whatever you guys want. Just hand traps, just to be able to play second, and then essentially just OTK your opponent. Thank you guys for enjoying. Thank you guys for watching this video. Not enjoying this video, but I do hope you guys did enjoy this video. And if you guys enjoyed, please comment and let me know what you guys' thoughts are, if you guys have any ideas for the deck. And then I'm also probably going to do a test combo video, so you guys can, yeah, I guess if you guys are just subscribed to the channel, you guys can see that too. #plug. All right, with that, guys, SPANK signing out. Peace.